Rachel Zegler meltdown. I mean, I'm a big fan of Rachel Zegler meltdowns. They're quite exciting. Game of the year was rigged. See, I like how I like how Dragon Age the Fail Guard was not even nominated for anything worth talking about, and yet it still feels rigged. Will it be woke? GTA 6? Yeah, it's gonna be woke, dude. It went through its development start, like, what, 2018 all the way through 2020, like the wokest period in human history. It's gonna be woke as shit. If they do that, man, it's, to watch a Rockstar game fall so hard, I don't understand why they would. Like, fucking GTA's been pretty well inclusive. Culture is shifting, Cade. It is shifting, and you can already feel the growing pains of a certain demographic of people who are watching the control they've had over politics, media, the narrative. You can see them losing control, and they know they're losing control, and then they know they're losing support, and they know people aren't buying into it anymore because they pushed their luck. They went too fucking far with it. They got what they asked for, and then they were like, oh, this is good. I want more. More! And then the general public is just like, no, you see, you've gone too far. You fucked it. You could have had some dignity about this, but you didn't. You got the power, and then you just decided to run with it and see how far you could go. Policing people's speech and what they think, and dismissing people that don't agree with you. Fucking calling everyone fascist. It's like, when was the last time? See, this is the thing that fucking bothers me about the left currently. It was like they were calling the other side fascist. I'm like, look, when was the last time you looked up the definition of fascist? Because I think you'll find that you fit that description far closer than anyone else currently. You won't listen to anyone who has an opposing opinion to you. You, in fact, choose to try and censor these people, actively choose to censor these people. You also dismiss anything you consider to be detractors. It's totalitarian, authoritarian, and it's becoming fascist. They would prefer there was no opposition. They would prefer it wasn't there at all. And this is why I lost my support for it. I don't support the ones in control, okay? The ones who censor people, the ones who tell you how to think, tell you how to vote. I don't support those people. I'm a fucking punk, dude, through and through. I don't, like, if you're in control, if you're the one who's in the media and controlling the sort of stuff that kids see, if you're in the video games and you're controlling the stuff that gamers play, if you're in the movies and you're controlling the things that adults pay to go see in the theater, if you're in the White House controlling every single aspect of politics and media, then you're the system. You are the system. You are in control, and you're censoring people who dare try to take that control from you. I don't support that. I don't care who it is, if it's blue or red. If you're the one censoring other people and you're the ones taking all the control, I don't support you. No side, no political movement should ever have the most control at any point. I like to keep the fucking pendulum swinging, baby. Make sure they're never in power long enough to enact some level of fascism or authoritarianism. I don't care who it is, red or blue or fucking green, I don't care. Whichever side it is, if you're the one who's doing the censorship, if you're in control, if you're telling people what to think, if you're paying people to tell others who to vote for, you're the system, and I don't like you. And that's where I stand. Look, in 10 years from now, and the Republicans are censoring people and telling them, oh my god! I mean, I'm libertarian. I adopt policies from both sides if they fucking make sense. I'm also a moderate. I don't believe in extremist views either way. Like the government not being able to settle on a single party for too long. If they get rooted too long in their position of power, then they start losing perspective of what they wanted to do. I mean, if it was up to me, it'd be 4 years left, 4 years right, on and off. Neither of you get to have too much time to get too fucking comfortable to control people. That is how you take away democracy, when you remove people's right to vote. You are not removing or losing democracy by voting in people who you don't agree with. That's not how losing democracy works. If you don't have the right or the ability to vote, that's losing democracy. But people voted. They did. And for the love of fuck, respect it, and lose with some dignity. Same goes for the right, by the way. Win with some dignity. Seriously, a good winner is always going to put a smile on the loser's face. It's going to make them feel better. Did Trump lose with dignity on the January 6th? No. So I have seen some really weird statistics about that recently. But John, it doesn't bother me. I don't support individuals. I'm not like the type that would be like, you know what, if I met Trump, we'd be best friends. It's not like that. I care about the representation that these individuals hold rather than the individual themselves. It goes for everybody. Everything I'm saying, it goes for everybody. I don't have staunch support for anyone. This is what happened with Twitch. As a platform, it radicalized itself in its own echo chamber, which usually happens in echo chambers. An echo chamber is conducive to the radicalization of its inhabitants because there is no one there to check you on your fucking weird shit. So the adpocalypse has happened on Twitch and a bunch of ads have been pulled, and it's Asmongold. Eat the rich, but I live in a $5 million house, Daniel. It's exactly it. This is why I don't like Hassan, man. I really don't think, unless you have some sort of family tie to the conflict currently going on between Palestine and Israel, I don't think something so unbelievably important and something so unbelievably volatile should ever have been a fad that the West adopted. There are so many fucking things that these brainless influencers on Twitch and YouTube, there's so many things they don't know about that conflict, which has gone on for thousands of years. It's survived many governments, it's survived many leaders, it's survived many generations of people. It has never stopped. It is incredibly dangerous, it's incredibly volatile, and it's incredibly convoluted. There is so much to it. And the fact that this became like a global concern for people who have no idea, who used it as a virtue signal, who used it as a point to express what side they support, it's not for that. Out of all the things that people could have adopted in order to express their virtue signal, basically, to signal their virtues, this should not have been it. It's an incredibly dangerous thing to be fucking with, to be talking about, to be offering an opinion on. It's insane. I mean, a lot of Americans are just like, it's even over here in Europe, you got these white girls being like, yeah, I'm pro-Palestine, and then you've got people being pro-Israel, or you know nothing. Okay? This is an extremely dangerous and volatile situation and should never have been adopted as a virtue signaling topic for trendy white women in America. Like, it can blow up in such a massive way that I don't think anyone's going to be able to anticipate. I've thought about offering my own opinions on it, but I don't like doing that unless I have at least some level of understanding. And I've done some research on the conflict myself. Politically, culturally, religiously, it's almost impossible to talk about. There is so much to it. Honestly, I think if you're smart enough, you look at it and you're like, I ain't fucking touching that. That's insane. That's an insane thing to adopt. To be like, you, real quick, what's your stance? Israel or Palestine? And then based on their answer, they're your friend or your enemy. How irresponsible to wield such an incredibly dangerous topic for your new fad of the decade. It's incredibly stupid. You should not be doing this. And that's what Twitch has been doing. In its echo chamber, has become radicalized, or at least has radicalized a lot of really loud mouthpieces to share some very controversial opinions on the conflict, which has crossed some fucking lines. And Asmongold, who also has crossed some lines with his language and his opinions on the conflict, purely from the standpoint of wanting to be a contrarian, but that's neither here nor there. I really don't have an issue with Asmongold at all. It's good that he learned his lesson from being banned and is like, okay, well, if I can't talk about it, let's see what they're talking about on Twitch. Oh, look at that. They're not being banned. So now there's been a massive site-wide adpocalypse. But these days, everything needs to be a politically divisive topic. Everything needs to be adopted and added to your personality, to your repertoire, to your arsenal of virtues that you signal in order to ascertain who is your ally and who's your enemy. Everyone's doing it, and everyone's very quick to radicalize almost any situation, regardless of whether or not they understand it. Look, America's already super divisive. The rest of the world is. You don't need to be adding the shit in there. It's incredibly dangerous. Honestly, I'm glad that Asmongold took the responsibility to expose what was being said on Twitch. So there you go. That's why I will never do a video talking about the Russia-Ukraine thing. That's why I'm never going to offer opinions on the Israel-Palestine thing. It's none of our fucking business. We do not and cannot know enough about it to offer anything honestly constructive. We would only be talking about it to signal our fucking virtue, which I'm not really in the interest of doing that. I don't have anything to prove to anybody.